Broadcasting live from the middle of America, welcome to the Oklahoma City Real Estate Show. Covering local market data, news, and reports to arm you with information you need to empower your investing and strengthen your American rights. Top realtor, investor, husband, father, and veteran. Here is your host, Landon Witt.
Welcome to episode 55 on the Oklahoma City Real Estate Show. I am your host, Landon Witt. Today on the show, we bring on Jonny Mixon, who's a local investor that I've worked with for quite a while now. He's also started a new credit repair agency or a credit repair counseling business, in which we're going to talk about today some of the common pitfalls that occur when you're going to buy a home and when you're also going to buy investment real estate, no matter what side of the fence you're on. And it's really the side of investing and homeowning often goes hand in hand. So it's really important to understand how your credit score affects your decisions in this and how you can make strategic changes to get your credit score ready for the coming real estate purchases in your future. As I know, you listen to this show, you're already going to be purchasing real estate soon enough. Okay, want to jump into the market today. Market coming in, looking pretty good for coming into the fall. We're still very excited on the seller side of the market, not really showing any sentiment going towards the buyer's favor. Buying, what I mean by listing and selling numbers pretty darn close this week again in Oklahoma City. As far as your pending coming in, we've got quite a few that went pending just in the last 7 days. Now, that's you've listed your property and you've received an offer and you've got the deposit for that offer and you go pending, which that really gives us the heartbeat on how much activity or market volatility was going on this last 7 days. And we're looking at 198 homes just in the 10 square miles of Oklahoma City, or 10 circular miles. That's from the city and outer radius of 10 miles around. That's coming in your median days on market, 16. That's, again, up from last week's 13 days on market, with your median list priced at $149,450, and your list price square foot coming in at $96.52 per square foot. Again, that's the pending. Let's change over and look a little bit at the sold. This is the stuff that went under contract most likely 30 days ago, and then now they're getting into the sold category. Those being 125 closing in the last 7 days in Oklahoma City, with an average days on market of 13. Again, remember that 13 is basically a snapshot of 30 days ago. Looking at the pending, we're now 16, showing that the market is getting into the fall. First day of fall, I think being yesterday, was that first day. $95.74 cents per square foot, with a selling price of $93.98 per square foot. That's a 1.76% reduction in purchase price or discount, with your median coming in at $147,000. For your top listing of the week, what was that? That comes in at $132.67 per square foot. That's 1812 North Gatewood Avenue. It's a 7,500 square foot house coming in at $990,000. That's spent 148 days on the market. Again, we see our number one sales price house of the week oftentimes exceeding 100 days on market. Still not too terribly bad for those high-end homes, as you're looking for a very, very, very small pool of buyers when you get up to that range. Again, your list price for that one, $132 a square foot. The selling price coming in $132 even square foot price. On to our REOs. Last 5 days, we're looking at 4 REOs coming onto the market, or off of the market. Average days on market 12, which is much lower than the last week where we were closer to that 20-day on market, where we had some REOs just taking forever to process. These REOs also compile short sales, and we're running in the metric of $36.04 list price, and your selling price coming in at $38.87. That's a 2.83% increase in price over our list, and battling and selling out on an average or a median of the 2.83% increase. You're looking at $78,000 average list price for an REO in Oklahoma City, and an average selling price of $59,000. Folks, if you've been listening to the show, you understand that we're at $100 per square foot total price median. So if you're in at $36 per square foot, or in this case, $38 per square foot, you've got some space in there to then get that home renovated and make you some healthy cash before getting out of that investment on a flip. All right, I want to get into the news. The news this week, we have a big one making top national news. The Fed announces the second rate cut. A lot of you folks remember that from the 18th of September, today being September 25th. That's cutting the rate by 25 basis points, 1.7%. I want to just read some of the excerpts here from the Fed coming in. The chairman, Jerome Powell, I said, job gains have been solid on average in recent months, and the unemployment rate has remained low. Although household spending has been rising at a strong pace, business, fixed investment, and exports have been weakening. The FOMC statement said, Federal Chairman Jerome Powell presented an upbeat view of the economy, but emphasized that the central bank would continue to monitor the implications of incoming information for the economic outlook and will act as appropriate. And they further go on to say only 7 of the 17 federal officials forecast rate cuts for any time the rest of this year. That coming from the Epoch Times, a magazine or a newspaper that I have begun reading. Let's look at the unemployment rate for Oklahoma City. The report coming out from July, those are usually about a month behind, about a month and a half behind. So the report coming in for July, the Oklahoma City unemployment rate has come in at 3.1%, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. This represents a slight improvement from June's rate of 3.2%. Oklahoma City had the 9th lowest unemployment rate along major metros for the month of July. Statewide, the unemployment rate came in at 3.2, while nationally it stayed at 3.7. Folks, that's great signs to see. We are staying well underneath the national average for unemployment, largely due to our booming medical field that's really been taking off. We talked about that $10.8 million grant that the cancer research got, and interesting stuff. I want to also bring up out of Tulsa, yesterday was announced on the 24th, the employees of the Cherokee Nation, with approval of its biggest budget in history, a $1.16 billion to be exact, increases the minimum wage for the Cherokee Nation from $9.50 to $11 per hour. It's also affecting those employees making less than $15 per hour with a larger than normal increase to annual income. So that affects about 1,400 employees of the Cherokee Nation here in Oklahoma. That's nearly $4 above the minimum wage. That's set to go in effect their fiscal year, which begins October 1st of this year. Another thing to talk about, I'm going to try to switch to this other screen. For those of you locals and those that spend a lot of time here, you may remember a dome that's on 23rd Street. This dome has been here since the 70s, since the decoupage age. Well, its demolition is beginning today. Actually, they started rolling out, it started rolling out yesterday, and they'll continue on throughout this week, knocking down several of the outside portions of the building and continuing on. There's still not word yet of what they're going to be doing for the actual inside structure itself, but that structure being vacant for 10 years now. So interesting to see finally something coming about at a wonderful intersection. I've been bringing you guys local news in light of what the Democrats are pushing for our Second Amendment right banning on firearms. And I've been with keen eyes looking around Oklahoma for incidences where individuals are using their Second Amendment right to protect themselves. And this article comes out of eastern Oklahoma, a place called Rock Island, about 190 miles east of Oklahoma City. The reporter, this coming out of Fox 25 here in Oklahoma City, Seal, which was the woman who was hearing impaired, she said a man came into her house and she yelled at the man to get out of the house and shot him once he moved towards her. He says the woman did not know the man and had never seen him before. Deputies discovered the suspect's body in the kitchen area of the house. He was pronounced dead at the scene. He has not been identified, and his body was transported to the state medical examiner's office for identification. Individual, again, a summary of that being a woman inside of her home alone. A hearing impaired woman looked up to see a strange man walking towards her. After she yelled at the man to leave, he continued forward, and at that point she practiced her Second Amendment rights to defend her home. Folks, when guns are used legally and in a right way, they are the ultimate equalizer, which keeps our homes safe and secure from intrusions such as this one. Without a further ado, I want to get into our guest on the show today, our guest being Jonny Mixon, who we've worked together to help grow his wealth through investing in real estate. Here, he just recently purchased a fourplex on the southeast side of Oklahoma City, just south of downtown, which is a growing area. We're going to talk a little bit about that from him, but I want to invite you to introduce yourself to the folks, let them know what you're doing and kind of what you've been up to lately here.
Hello, Oklahoma City, and everybody that's just viewing. We just been steady working, building, and also teaching others about wealth and credit and how to leverage those two things to build generational wealth. So that's what we've been up to.
Excellent. And I know that you have been in that last investment, which was the fourplex. You've been in that for, I think, 6 months now?
I think we're approaching a year.
Are we a year already?
Yeah, I think we're approaching a year now.
My gosh, time is flying, folks. So you've been there for a year and you're self-managing. Give a couple comments on what that's been like in Oklahoma.
So far so good. No horror stories. So everything's been good. Like I said, everything is pretty much automated, so that makes it easy, real easy.
And when you talk about automation, you're talking about the rent collection process. Okay, great. I know that we have talked about that time and time again on the show. If you are not using a property management company and you're managing on your own, there's a lot of resources to collect your rent automatically, especially if you've got tenants that have an understanding of smartphones and the ability to use the online bill pay, and you can sign them up through their email. If they've got the email connection, really makes a difference in when that first runs around, you're not having to track down people or deal with paper money and that kind of thing. But talk to me, give a rundown a little bit on, first off, how you got into credit repair, why you got into credit repair, and what are some things that you're seeing and noticing about credit and how it's affecting investing in real estate and buying real estate as a primary dwelling.
Actually, I got into it for the lack of knowledge when I was going through the home buying process, and I got intrigued by it and seeing the power in it, and so I did it for of course to purchase my property. Then I thought about it, all the other people that doesn't have the knowledge as well, that I could help out with it as well to get them to buy their property.
What are some of the main things that you discovered?
Going through the process of my own, learning through experience, late payments. Late payments is something you want to stray away from. You can build a credit profile, but late payments is something that's going to tremendously hurt you.
So we got late payments. What are some other things?
Late payments, foreclosures, repossessions, basically anything negative. Anything negative can really take an effect on that.
Maybe pulling up on your screen your website here that you created. A really cool looking website. Now, this is designed for, what would you say, folks that really don't understand at all the credit process and just want to be able to either, maybe they've been denied a loan before. Is that right?
Right. Like I said, don't hesitate to pick up the phone and give us a call. We'll walk you through the process. Like I said, I work hand in hand with Landon here. So it's basically a walk you through the whole way through.
Okay, so for those that maybe just got denied and they maybe have a weak credit history, where do you normally start? Where's a good starting point for those folks?
As far as like a weak credit profile, you want to at least have 5 accounts in good standings. And once we go from there, be on time for at least 6 to 12 months. Once you got those 6 to 12 months online payments, we go back and look at your credit profile, then see what else we can tweak and work on from there, and try to get you qualified.
Now, your site here, you're saying you specialize in inquiry removal.
Right.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit about what do you mean by inquiry?
Inquiry is just basically, like you said, for somebody that didn't apply for something and got denied. Once you apply for something, you get a hard inquiry on your credit report. So say like you apply for a mortgage and you get denied, it leaves a hard inquiry on your credit report for 2 years. We have the capability and knowledge to remove that with sooner than possible. So.
Wow. Okay, so one of the things that I've learned throughout the whole credit deal, and one thing that's really frustrating is when you've actually purchased a property and you've paid off your mortgage and you're expecting your mortgage to go, or your credit to go up, and it actually goes down. And that's really due to your amount of loans that you have open. You know, Jonny talked about 5 accounts open, and that's in a given category. So if you have credit cards and you've got several revolving credit is what they call that.
Right.
And then you have real estate, right? And let's say, for example, you only have 1 or maybe 2 real estate accounts, and you drop one of those accounts or maybe both of those accounts, then that entire category in your credit score has now gone away. And so now a lot of folks experience a drop in credit after actually paying it back. So all debt is not bad debt. Okay, remember, we use debt on this show all the time to gain wealth. There's bad debt out there that a lot of folks have when you have an unsecured credit card at 25% interest rate, some of these folks have got, and you're just paying the minimum monthly payments, and that debt just keeps piling up because the interest, you're just basically paying the interest and very little off the principal. And so over time, your wealth just gets destroyed by that. A lot of people may have turned to Dave Ramsey and those kind of things. Now, let's talk. While I've got you, talk to me a little bit about what it's been like immersing on the southeast side. We talk a lot on the show about the northwest side.
Right.
So what's going on the southeast side? You're boots on the ground right now. You did a rehab project in a 4-unit on the southeast side. Right. Is it dangerous over there? Some people say it's dangerous. Is it dangerous over there?
For me, no. I had no threats or nothing at all. And I think it's once you go in there with the right attitude, like I said, make yourself approachable to everyone. Once you make yourself approachable and let them know you're not there to cause no harm or no conflict, and they receive you different. So no threats. Not on my end, at least. I can't speak for everybody else. But
Just building relationship, sure.
Exactly.
Now, as far as, you're right next to downtown. I mean, you can get on Shields and head right into
3 minutes away.
downtown, sure. And I think that's the really big pull of investing in these multi-units on the south side as we see the convention center opening and all these different things. Now, some of the movement there's been On Q that started investing in a $1 million gas station right there and just building the infrastructure out. McDonald's has come in that corner, and they've even got more retail shops coming just west of there.
They just finished building them.
There you go. See, I didn't even know that. So how do you feel the residents over there are feeling now about their area?
The improvement is always good. I think they're happy about it. I think as far as on the resident side, I think we need more good property owners, landlords, to actually put money into the property to make them the tenants and residents to feel more comfortable. I think that's the lack of what we got going on right now.
Give us an example of what you're talking about, because I feel like some folks don't quite get what you're talking about.
So like a tenant, for instance, they've been calling a landlord for 6 months about a leaky faucet or a leaky roof or something like that, and they don't respond to them as quick as they should. So I think a lot of that is going on in that area. So if we can improve that, I think everything will be okay.
I think the word we're looking for there is slumlord.
Exactly.
And I'm glad, Johnny, that you brought that up. That is something going forward, and really always. Those that have worked with me, you know I'm constantly asking questions about how you're going to set up your investment to really succeed down the future. So many agents are just concerned with getting that commission and getting the property sold to you, and that's it, and then moving on to maybe the next one, where if you don't have enough cash flow coming in your property, you're going to be set up by default to be a slumlord, because you're not going to make enough to service the debt that you just took out and to be able to invest in the property to repair the necessary repairs that are needed.
Exactly.
And then you get into this slumlord situation. And I got news for you. We have invested so much time, energy, and money into this city and the new wave of beautification that if you have the plans to treat your property and the tenants with disrespect, and that's really what it is, then you have no place in the future in Oklahoma City. Code enforcement is coming after these slumlords like never before. We've got new funding coming behind them, and really just a community effort of saying, this has got to stop. So we're going to be doing more and more education on landowner rights on this show. And for those that have been loyal listeners, and you know who you are from the very start, you've heard the show kind of evolve, and now we're getting really towards the nitty-gritty of information that empowers you as an investor to not only make money now but to make money in the future, and also be in a position of power and strength for your family. If you don't have a secure income now for this coming new difficult time where we talk about censorship like never before and impact of community, if you don't have a way to fund your conservative rights and your conservative beliefs, you are going to be subject to whatever the far left agenda wants to do over your life, whether that's censoring what you're saying at the workforce, censoring what you're saying at home, deciding what you can do at work and what you can believe in anymore. You've got to secure your income to where you can still believe in the things that you believe in and push for the things and the rights that you believe in without worrying about being chastised on your income. So when we're sharing these tricks and when we talk with you, and I'm talking with 3-4 people a week now in person here in Oklahoma City, and some of you coming in, another probably 3 or 4 via phone, via email from around the world, excited about getting into the Midwest, and really this is the Southwest, but the middle of America, this huge push, and it's a beautiful opportunity to get in. But I want you to understand the purpose of this is to leverage you into a life of freedom. You want to set this up right, and by doing it right, you're taking care of your tenants, you're taking care of your fellow Americans that are living here in the greatest city in the middle of America. So I don't know if does that hit it on the head?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I want you to talk a little bit more, Jonny, about kind of what you've experienced in this sort of landlord situation, and maybe some things that you've come up with as quote unquote the small guy to hedge and make sure these folks are taken care of, to where you can still make money at the end of the day, but people can win as well.
Maybe like an old method, each one teach one. So you had taught me a lot, and it's putting that knowledge back out there. And so once you put the knowledge back out there, it comes back. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle of putting a good message out. So as far as my experience in it, it's been a beautiful thing, and I want to give that knowledge away to teach other people how to do it as well. And so getting ready to gear up and do something big, some real big to do that, and it's called home rescue. And so where we get out and literally seminars, get out there and teach credit repair, teach them the laws of what a landlord's supposed to do, teach people how to become a landlord, not a slumlord.
That's good. I'm glad you brought that up. So many of you may have gone to the website OKCRealEstateShow.com and seen now the advertisements for Home Rescue. Home Rescue is a new operation that we've got to first educate. So many times as wholesalers, the temptation is to go in there and to win the deal at all costs, or to win the deal ahead of the rest, and then be able to get that on the market quickly. But we forget that with great knowledge comes great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. Coined so beautifully by Spider-Man, as my son loves Spider-Man. And I love that about that movie, where they are still teaching that power and responsibility is intertwined. But so we've got a situation where a resident is either their roof's leaking or things like that, and oftentimes the wholesaler will come in there and just negotiate with all this information they've got in their mind and get that house away from that person because they don't deserve that house, and often remove what has been in that family for generation after generation after generation, that home, and then convert it into just another rental. And we've seen that play out time and time again. So what Home Rescue aims to do is to educate that individual and truly make sure that that is the right plan for them. And then if that's truly correct, then we align that property with investors that we know and trust. And some of you are listening to this show, and some of you will be future investors that we know and trust. And that's why we ask you to reach out and get part of our education programs that we're building, because if you don't have the money now, but you have the perseverance and you have the drive and you're wanting to do the right thing, then you are the candidate I'm talking about. You may not be doing this today, but you may be doing this 5 years from now or 10 years from now, and you can change the very future of your family. So if you've got a situation and you're not sure what to do, please email in support@okcreal.com. That will then go to either myself or Jonny, and one of us will look at that and be able to help answer some of these basic questions. And as we get into the advanced questions, we can even do those as well. We've got a network now of engineers, structural engineers, as well as rehab specialists, and now attorneys to be able to help volunteer some of their time to be able to help kind of bridge the gap. We've got a huge issue on the northeast side, southwest side of Oklahoma City, where titles have been clouded and there's a lot of issue, and wholesalers have been taking advantage of those and perpetuating this kind of slumlord environment in town with really no intentions of making the properties look better. So our goal out there is to make Oklahoma City a better, cleaner, well-run machine where families can feel safe and secure in their homes and build good values again here in the middle of America. So you're going to see Jonny coming in and out on the show, and I'm going to try to bring you more and more footage from the Northeast side and from some of these seminars. Again, once a month, we're bringing on that educational, where we're bringing that information to you. So keep watching, keep subscribed to this channel. Any feedback would be great, and I appreciate it very much. Stay tuned to the website, as some of these properties are going to be coming available. But again, we're not just releasing these to everybody. These are folks that are in a position to be able to responsibly and legally own, okay? This is not housing discrimination. This is looking for people that will obey the rules of our land that have been so beautifully voted on, and to continue to participate in our growing and wonderfully maintained city in the future. Again, I think it was last week on Wednesday, I ended up running into a code enforcement officer who was working she was working that weekend before, and she was telling me about how, these lawns and stuff like that leads to rodents and all that stuff getting into our community. And just, we oftentimes view these code enforcement officers as a negative thing, when in fact, the spirit behind them is really a beautiful thing to help keep our community great. So check out OKCRealEstateShow.com. You can email support@OKCReal.com. Stay tuned for another exciting episode every Wednesday here if you're watching or listening on the podcast, or you can watch the new episodes on YouTube, or catch the new episodes always on OKCRealEstateShow.com. Thanks as always for watching and listening, and God bless each and every one of you.